Hey guys, so in the previous video we already saw how to code up a breadth first search algorithm, and now in this video we will have a look at a very important use case of breadth first search algorithm, that is finding the shortest path in an unweighted graph. So let's get started. Now in order to understand this use case of breadth first search algorithm, we will have a look at two very important properties. So the first property over here is BFS iterate over the nodes in the increasing order of their distance. For example, in this graph over here, for starting point x equals to 1, one of the valid orders to iterate over the nodes in case of BFS will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 5, 6. Alright. So that's the first property of the BFS algorithm, and we have discussed it a lot of times in the previous videos. Now the second point over here is that a node at a distance of d in the breadth first search cube is always pushed in by a node at a distance of d minus 1. Alright, so what we mean over here is we can be sure that if a particular node is at a distance of let's say d from the starting node x, it is guaranteed that this node would have been pushed by a node at a distance of d minus 1 from the starting node x. Alright, so let's try to see how we can use these properties to solve this problem of finding the shortest path in an unweighted graph. Now this order over here is one of the valid orders for performing BFS from node x equals to 1 on this graph given over here. Alright. Now all we have to do is understand how to actually integrate this second property over here to solve this particular use case. To understand this, in the original breadth first search algorithm, we made a very small modification. Now for those who don't really know how we actually code up a breadth first search algorithm and the algorithm itself, you might want to watch my video on BFS because that is important over here, and we will make a very small modification on that BFS algorithm to accommodate this use case. All right. Now if you remember, the breadth first search algorithm always starts with the starting point x over here as mentioned. So, and we also know that the distance of the starting point is equals to 0. So this distance of the starting point, that is this distance equals to 0, it becomes our base case in this case. So let's say the distance of point 1 in this case is equals to 0. And now from the second property, we also know that the nodes that would be pushed in by this node x equals to 1 would have a distance of 1. Why? Because this node is at a distance of 0, and the nodes and the other nodes which were pushed by it from this property number 2 would have a distance of 1. So the nodes in the actual BFS algorithm, the nodes which are pushed by the node number 1 are the nodes which are adjacent to it. Alright, so the nodes 2 and 3 would be pushed by the node number 1 in the BFS algorithm, and their distance will be equals to 1. And we also know that the nodes 4 and 7 are the nodes that would be pushed in by the nodes 2 and 3 into the queue. All right, so because 4 and 7 are adjacent to nodes 2 and 3. All right, so again from this second property, since nodes 2 and 3 are at a distance of 1, the nodes 4 and 7, since they were pushed in by the node at a distance of 1, their distance will be equals to 2. And finally, the nodes which are adjacent to node 4 and 7 are the nodes 5 and 6 respectively. And again from the second property, their distance will be equals to 3. Now the problem is, how do we actually use these facts that we discussed right now and code them into an algorithm? So all we would need to do is to keep track of the distance of the nodes that has been pushed into the queue. Alright, so this is the only extra thing that we need to ensure in the BFS algorithm. We need to keep track of the distance of the nodes that has been pushed into the queue. Alright, and why is that? So let's say the ith node is being iterated over inside the queue now. So from the logic, we should know its distance as well, right? Because we are keeping track of a distance of all the nodes that has been pushed into the queue. So let's say that its distance is equals to d1. Now when we iterate over all the nodes which are adjacent to this ith node, so let's say we are iterating over all the nodes j which are adjacent to the ith node, such that j was not pushed into the queue before. All right, so for such a j, before pushing them into the queue, we would also update their distance with the help of this distance of this ith node. So the distance of the updated distance of the jth node before pushing them into the queue would be equals to d1 plus 1. And this is how we are going to actually implement the the BFS algorithm for finding the shortest path. So let's just have a look at the pseudocode now. Now, there were some certain requirements before proceeding with the breadth first search algorithm. The first requirement was that of a queue. So let's call that queue as, represent that queue with a variable q over here. Alright, so this is the queue over here, let's say. The second requirement was that of a Boolean array to mark whether a state has been pushed into the queue before or not. Alright, so let's call that array as VIS, and the size of this array for this particular case would be equals to 7, because there are 7 nodes in the graph and we are assuming one based indexing. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and initially this entire visited array will be initialized with 0 because none of the nodes has been pushed into the queue. Now we would also have a third requirement in this particular use case, that is a distance array. This would help us keep track of the distance of the nodes that has been pushed into the queue. All right, so again this array would be of size 7. So let's initialize this array over here as well. All right, and initially since none of the nodes has been pushed into the queue before, let's say the nodes which have not been pushed into the queue, they are initialized with distance of infinity. So this infinity is just a way to represent that the nodes have not been reached till now. All right, so let's say if dis of I is equals to infinity, it just means that I has not been pushed into the queue. So basically, if by the end of the BFS algorithm, if a particular if dis of I is still equals to infinity, it would just mean that that particular node was unreachable from the starting point x. Now that we have our requirements laid down, let's just define the base cases. So if you remember, the base cases for BFS algorithm was pushing the starting point into the queue. And now that we push the starting point into the queue, we also have to mark this node as pushed. That's for that what we will do is mark VIS of x equals to 1. So for that what we need to do is mark VIS of 1 equals to 1, because x equals to 1 in this case. And another thing that we need to do is we need to keep a track of distance of all the nodes that have been pushed into the queue. Now since x has been pushed into the queue, that is starting point has been pushed into the queue, so for accommodating that in the distance array, we would also update its distance, and its distance will be equals to 0. So now we also have laid down our base cases as well. Now the last thing is a pseudocode, all right, for the remaining algorithm, and let's have a look at that now. So actually let's make some space for writing the pseudocode over here, and we will write the pseudocode in this box. The pseudocode is actually a very small modification to the previous pseudocode of BFS we saw. So while queue is not empty, we pop the frontmost element of the queue and we iterate over it. All right, so the first mode, let's say x points to the frontmost element of the queue, that is q dot pop over here. All right, now what we need to do is we need to iterate over all the nodes which are adjacent to this node x. All right, so for, let's say j represents the nodes which are adjacent to the node x, or j belongs to adj x over here. Now if and only if this particular node j was not pushed into the queue before, so if not VIS of j, what we would do is we would push this node j into the queue now. So for that what we need to do is q dot push j, and another thing that we need to do is mark this node as visited, that is pushed into the queue. So for that what we will do is VIS of j equals to 1. And there is one more extra thing that we need to do in this case, that is we need to keep track of the distance of the node j. So we have already discussed that we need to keep a track of the distance of all the nodes which are present into the queue. All right, and for that we would update its distance as well. So dis of j will be equals to dis, that is distance of node x plus 1. And this over here, this line over here, it is derived from the property number 2. All right, so this is the entire code that can actually help us easily compute the distance of distance of all the nodes from a given starting point x in case of an unweighted graph. Now let's try to understand this pseudocode better with the help of a dry run for this given test case only. So initially the node x equals to 1 will be at a distance of 0 from itself. Now let's proceed with the algorithm. So in the first iteration, node number 1 will be popped out of the queue. All right, so let's say 1 popped, and then we would iterate over all the nodes which are adjacent to the current node. So the nodes which are adjacent to the current nodes are node number 2 and 3. So iterating over node number 2, I know it was not pushed into the queue before, so we would push it now. And now in the first iteration, node number 1 would be popped out of the queue. So let's say it's popped out of the queue. All right, now we would iterate over all the nodes which are adjacent to the node number 1. So the nodes which are adjacent to the node number 1 are the nodes 2 and 3. So we would iterate over them. So iterating over the node number 2, we see that since the node number 2 was not pushed into the queue before, that is VIS of 2 is equals to 0, we would push it into the queue now. We would mark the node number 2 as visited, and we would also update its distance as equals to 1, that is 0 plus 1, that is equals to 1. All right, then we would iterate over node number 3, and we would push it into the queue. And now we also need to mark this node number 3 as visited, and we also need to update its distance as 0 plus 1, that is equals to 1. So that's the end of first iteration. Now coming to the second test case over here, 2 is the frontmost element of the queue right now. All right, so we would pop 2 out of the queue in this case, and then we would iterate over all the nodes which are adjacent to 2. So the nodes which are adjacent to 2 in this case are nodes 1 and 4. And now since 1 was already pushed into the queue, it would be skipped, and then we would iterate over node 4, and since VIS of 4 is equals to 0, we would push it into the queue, and we would also mark VIS of 4 equals to 1, and we would also update its distance as equals to 1 plus 1, that is equals to 2. And this marks the end of the second iteration, and we would update distance of the fourth node to 2 in here. Now the frontmost element of this queue is equals to 3. So in the third iteration, we will pop this 3 out of the queue, and then we will iterate over all the nodes which are adjacent to node number 3, that are nodes 4, 1, 4 and 7. All right. So since 1 was already pushed into the queue, it would be skipped. Since 4 was already pushed into the queue, it would be skipped again. And now since VIS of 7 is equals to 0, 7 would be pushed into the queue. Then we will mark VIS of 7 equals to 1, and distance of node 7 will also be updated as distance of node 3 plus 1. So distance of node 3 is equals to 1, so distance of node 7 will be equals to 1 plus 1, that is equals to 2 in this case. All right, now this marks the end of the third iteration. So we would update the distance of node 7 equals to 2. Now for the fourth iteration, the frontmost element of this queue is 4. So fourth will be popped out of the queue, and then we will iterate over all the nodes which are adjacent to this node 4, that are nodes 2, 3 and 5 in this case. And since node number 2 was already pushed into the queue, we would ignore it. Since node number 3 was already pushed into the queue again, we would ignore it again. And since VIS of 5 is equals to 0, we would push it into the queue now. So the queue would become something like 5,7, and we would mark VIS of 5 equals to 1 in here. And we would also update the distance of the node 5 equals to distance of node 4 plus 1. So distance of node 4 is equals to 2. So distance of node 5 becomes equals to 3. All right. And this marks the end of the fourth iteration over here. So let's update the distance of the node 5 as 3. And now for the fifth iteration, since the frontmost element of the queue is 7, we will pop this 7 out of the queue, And then we will iterate over all the nodes which are adjacent to this node 7. So the nodes which are adjacent to the node 7 are nodes 3, 5 and 6 in this case. And since node number 3 has already been pushed, we would skip it. Node number 5 has been pushed, so we would skip it again. And since node number 6 has not been pushed into the queue now, we would push it now. We would mark VIs of 6 equals to 1, and we would also update its distance as distance of 7 plus 1. So distance of node 7 is equals to 2, so the distance of node 6 will be equals to 3 in this case. All right, so we have computed the distance of all of the nodes for this graph with the help of this algorithm over here. All right, and now in the end, in the next iteration, node number 5 will be popped since it's the frontmost element of the queue. So in sixth iteration, node number 5 will be popped, but nothing will happen after that. And in the seventh iteration, node number 6 will be popped, but then again nothing will happen. All right, so in any case, this over here, it actually pretty much gives us the distance of all the nodes from the starting node x equals to 1 for this unweighted graph over here for this particular test case. All right, and you can verify that this entire distance that we calculated over here, that we computed over here, is indeed correct. And this is how a breadth first search algorithm is used to compute shortest path in an unweighted graph. So in the coming videos, we will just have a look at how to actually code this up. All right, and coming to the time complexity of this algorithm, it's O of v plus e, where v is the number of vertices and e is the number of edges. All right, so if you want to have an in-depth analysis of runtime complexity, you might want to watch my video on breadth first search where we discuss the BFS algorithm in details. All right, so anyways, that's all for this videos, and hope to see you guys in the coming videos.